Hey guys, it's me, Slim. I don't know how many of you know, but I was kind of raised by bikers. One of the many families that took me in, the most consistent of the families that took me in, was a club. Um, that being said, I was given a dad when I walked in through the doors, basically, and he raised me. He raised me to be a boy. He raised me to be one of the brothers. He raised me to have my brother's backs. He raised me to be one of the guys. And now I know this seems a little bit odd because I'm not exactly a guy. But here's the thing, I appreciated it because I wasn't exactly the girliest of girls. I was all about adventure, I was all about learning new things, I was about the excitement of experimentation. Not necessarily with drugs or anything like that, but just everything else, knife throwing, climbing a building, that sort of, it was excitement to me and I loved it. That being said, I wasn't allowed to hang out with a lot of the women in the club. All of us served our purpose and we all pretty much loved the jobs that we were given. Some were wives and some were girlfriends and some were friendly. And dad didn't want me interacting with them. He didn't want me to become softened, to become the weaker sex, if you will. He wanted me to be like my brothers. He wanted me to be strong. He wanted me to be passionate. Um, he wanted me to think like a general and not a soldier. He wanted me to work hard. No, work smart, not hard. He taught me all of these different ways to live, and it was insane but helpful. And I think that my life wouldn't be my life without it. And I dedicate my entire life to making that man happy, the one who raised me. And even though he's passed now, it's still a major priority for me to make him proud with most of my actions. The rest of it's just me being me. And I accept that because even while he was alive, he couldn't control me, not completely. I took his word as strong suggestions, you know, but I was still going to do me. Always. It was always going to be me. I'm an outlaw through and through. I was just raised that way. And he did that. And he was proud of that. As much as it infuriated him, he was proud of that. That being said, during the early spring, it's riding season. It becomes riding season again because the streets are more favorable to riding. No snow, no ice. And even though there's rain, it's not completely intolerable. That being said, when writing season would come around when I was younger, when I was very young, the brothers would come out of the clubhouse, they'd yawn, they'd stretch, they'd talk about, oh, if only I had a girl to ride on the back, that sort of thing. And my dad, and it was an always thing. It wasn't like a once in a blue kind of, no, it was an always commentary where my dad would say, well, why don't you take your sister? She's almost a girl. I appreciate it now. Back then, not so much. But I appreciate it now because I understand where he was coming from. He wanted them to see me as their bro. But at the same time, he wanted me to enjoy the other aspects of the outlaw life, riding and stuff. Now, most people in the outlaw life are bikers. That's true. I don't ride, so I'm just an outlaw. Um, that being said, the tables have turned, and now that my breasts have gotten bigger, and yes, I do credit that to being a major thing. Also, I took a sabbatical to raise my family and start and build my career. And during that time, yes, I would still go back and spend time at the club, but not very much. And when my dad got sick and went into hospice, I stopped going for sometimes years at a time, because he wasn't there. He was the heart of it, and he was the reason I went. Sure, I have uncles and brothers there that I love and adore, but it was my dad who kept me going back because I needed his structure. I needed him as a fixture in my life. And so I continued to go back because that was my dad, not because it's my club. It's not. I never wore patches. And I refused to, because in order to wear patches, you have to kind of give your loyalty to just not just to your brothers, uh, uh, but to your patch. You know, your patch means more, and your club means more than even your family, if that makes sense. But the patch takes care of your family. Your family is covered and protected by the patch. That being said, you put on that patch and you also absorb their loyalties and their enemies. Now, that being said, again, I have no enemies. I'm Switzerland. And I love that about me. And I have brothers in all sorts of different places. So if I was to put on a patch to one set, I would have to turn my back on another. And I could never do that. I could never do that. Not unless I was given equal rights and opportunities to my brothers. And that, as far as outlaw clubs go, is not really a thing, let's say. Okay. Um anyway, back to springtime. It's springtime now, and I have gotten about 7, count them, 7 DMs from brothers who don't know me as well, but they all wear my dad's patch. And well, not all. 2 of them do not wear my dad's patch, but they know my dad. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I see all outlaws as biological family. That's how I see them. I've always been that way. I When I married my first husband, I married him because of a lack of options, honestly. I did not marry for love. I thought that in time I would fall in love, and I didn't. Um so there's that. But I married him out of a lack of options. And yes, he was a member of the club, but no, he was not a high ranking member. And by the time he had gotten to the club, I had already way outranked him. And so I married beneath my standards and beneath my rank then. When I married my second husband, I married a civilian. And my dad wouldn't have that and patched him up. So when I say that this spring I got 7 DMs from brothers all asking me to ride with them or send them dirty pics. Um, I had to make a public statement today that I am an outlaw, because I am, but I do not sleep with outlaws, because I don't. Because in my eyes, it would be like committing incest. It would be tantamount to committing incest. It's right. So when I get these DMs, can you imagine exactly how creeped out I am by the fact that these people are patch holding members of any club, but more specifically and more creepily, my dad's. On that note, I'm going to let you guys go. You have a lovely day. I'm going to go take 17 showers and scrub myself with Brilla. Talk soon. Bye.